we are seeing about 1,000 or so protesters involved in a peaceful sit-in. I say peaceful, yes, but they have been rather loud in their exclamations and demands, particularly calling for the Chief Executive Carrie Lam to step down. There are also usual calls of Hong Kong at oil, i.e. strive harder, as well as free Hong Kong, i.e. The fact that they want more freedoms for this city. But as I've said, it is largely a peaceful, orderly protest session we are seeing here, as opposed to those that we've seen over the weekends that descended into violence. There is no police presence. The Hong Kong police did give permission for this particular protest to go ahead, but we are seeing heavy security presence by the airport staff themselves. Of course, airport is governed by the Hong Kong International Airport Authority themselves. And let's not forget, there are also special forces that are on standby, as well as the police, in case things get out of hand. But this is not likely to happen. In fact, what we are seeing really is innovative ways in which these protesters are trying to get their voices heard. Now, at the arrival hall itself, we are seeing scores of protesters trying to hand out leaflets, as it were. They're standing by over there at the Gate B arrival hall. Unfortunately, right now, we're not seeing any tourists coming out. But they are trying to highlight really the fact that what they're trying to do here, or what the protests have been for the past several weeks now that are still going on. The fact that they want a full withdrawal of the extradition bill. They want a public inquiry into the police clearance action that have gone on during June 12th. That's when scores of people were hurt by rubber bullets and tear gas without the police giving ample warning beforehand. They also want amnesty, really, for these protesters who have demonstrated peacefully, they say. And of course, finally, they are also calling for the government to recant its characterization of that June 12 protest as rioting that is happening. At the same time, we are seeing damage control by the government. There was an email that was just issued, an email statement that was just issued by the Commerce Secretary. This is response really to the travel advisory that several countries have now issued on Hong Kong. The advisory by Edward Liao, the Secretary for Commerce of Hong Kong, says that Hong Kong is still a welcoming place for investors and visitors here. That yes, the vast majority of people are taking part in peaceful protests, and that processions and such protests are publicized in advance, and hotel operators are also told to make necessary arrangements to these protests. But they say at the same time that, you know, the people here in Hong Kong are peaceful protesters, but of course there are pockets of violence, especially that we've seen over the weekend. And that's part of the reason, really, why some of these protesters are here. We are seeing a lot of young faces, but we also know, for example, that the Cathay Pacific Flight Attendants Union have said that they will be joining this particular protest in solidarity with the extradition bill protesters. The union, of course, does not represent the views of Cathay Pacific Airlines or its parent company, Swire Pacific. But at the same time, it's still up in the air as to whether these companies are actually supportive of the protest actions. But as we can see, these protesters here are in a peaceful sit-in. They are trying to educate or change the minds of people outside of Hong Kong who may or may not know what's been going on here for the past several weeks now.
Now, Roland, it does look very controlled and very civilized. And given that it has police approval, do you have any idea, for example, how long this airport protest will go on for? Will it finish by today? Will it end in the evening? Roughly what time that might happen?
Right, this protest really was called by netizens online. It was circulated as early as Monday this week. The organizers themselves had started these protests at 1 p.m. Singapore Hong Kong time. Their cutoff time, I should say, is at 11:59 p.m. Singapore Hong Kong time tonight. So at midnight, these crowds here are expected to disperse. That is the tacit agreement between the police and the protest organizers here today. Again, as I said, they do not anticipate any violent actions by any of these protesters here. They are, of course, making their voices heard. In the past hour or so, they had been chanting non-stop. But as you can see in the past few minutes, several minutes that I've been talking to you, that they've actually started to take a breather, as it were. But no doubt these chants will continue, and it will, of course, draw lots of attention from the tourists or the visitors arriving here. I spoke to a couple of visitors earlier on as well, and they said that, they were supportive of the protesters' action, or protesters' right to actually protest in the airport. And another one said that actually he wasn't inconvenienced at all from his arrival at the arrival hall towards the MTR station to take them to the city, or to the taxi stands to take them to whichever hotel location that they might be going towards. So these protesters seem to be doing the right thing. They want to get the international visitors here on their side. They are not doing anything to disrupt airport daily services. So hopefully things will proceed like this, I guess, until tonight then.